Now, this is how you can cram every single thing and remember it for school. This is a study tip that I want to share with you right now. Hi, I'm Allick Delancy, psychologist working in the field of mental health and education. And today I want to talk about how you can actually cram successfully. Now, students, they think about cramming around exam time. Maybe it's a quiz coming up, or probably they have to do a presentation, and they just have to cram off a whole lot of stuff, a lot of subject matter. You just have to force down in your brain. Now, cramming, many times when it's done, generally speaking, after the exam, after the quiz, after the presentation, maybe a few hours after, even sometimes sooner than that, there's memory erosion. People don't remember things. Students can't remember half or more, or sometimes everything that they will have crammed. It just leaves their mind within a few days' time. But this technique that I'm going to share with you, I actually got it from Justin's song on YouTube, so shout out to Justin. And he talked about how to cram, actually not at the end, but actually cram up front. Now, this was a really interesting idea for me, because when I heard about it, I said, okay, where is he going with this? But hear me out here. It actually makes sense. What he said is that you need to cram up front all the information that you will be covering for the term, the quarter, or the semester. Now, a person may say, well, I don't know what I'm actually going to be taught this term. I don't know what I'm going to be taught this semester. So how can I cram for it? I didn't get any notes. Maybe this is the start of the semester. This is the start of the school term. I really don't have any information. So where do I cram? Well, the reality is we may actually have access to the information and don't realize that we do. So where can we find it? Well, you can actually approach your teacher and say, Miss or Sir, what am I expected to learn this term, this semester, this quarter? What am I expected to learn? And many times they will share it with you. I don't think there's a teacher who will say,
I'm not going to tell you. I'm just only going to release it when I release it. So just wait for that.
But let's say, for example, you do have a teacher who said that. What do you do? Well, a number of times you can actually find the syllabus or the curriculum somewhere. You probably in a secondary school where the information actually is online somewhere. So it might actually be on the website of the Ministry of Education. You can actually go there, look and see if you are in primary school, if you're in Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, Form 5, Form 6, or even if it's university, try to find out from those websites, wherever you are in the world, what might be expected of a university student, a primary school student, a secondary school student. What is expected? Many times you could actually find the information right there. All the content, the subject areas, the subjects, it's right there. If, for example, it's not there, so I don't know which country you're in, but let's say it's not there. Where can you get that information? Well, there are students who have gone before. You can ask those students, what did you do in the first term, in the second term, in the third term? What were some of the subject areas did you cover? So probably it is in the sciences, or maybe it's in business. You can ask them, what did they cover? So those students who will have gone up, moved on. And they will tell you. You can always find someone who will actually let you know. So this is what we did, this is what we studied, and this is what most likely will come. So you have that information. So you have access to the teachers, you have access to the websites, probably the Ministry of Education website. You have access to persons who will have gone before you, and therefore they are able to tell you, okay, this is what we will have studied the first, second, or third term, or quarter, or semester, or what have you. Now, you want to cram up front. So what you're doing is that you're trying to get as much information on this down your brain. Keep in mind, you don't have to remember every single thing. Remember, this is cramming up front at the start of the term, at the start of the semester, at the start of the quarter. This is what you're doing. You're getting as much information, probably you can go on the internet, so you know exactly what is going to come, what is most likely. It's Caribbean history. You can get information on the Caribbean history on the internet. It is social studies having to do with different kinds of maybe political systems. All of that is on. You could Google that and you can actually find it out. You can start memorizing some of the information, studying some of the information. Imagine as though you're going to do an exam at the end of the week. and you need to get this information down inside of your brain as quickly as possible. Keep in mind, you will not have gone through this information as yet because it wasn't taught in class, but you're helping your brain to be urgent, to know, okay, I need to know this, I need to know that, I need to know all this information. So you're going on the internet, you're Googling it, or you're getting textbook, or you're reading the textbook that you already have in your possession. Once you have that textbook, you can use that textbook. Read ahead, go ahead, that's fine. Read topics that will eventually come maybe the 3rd week, the 4th week, maybe the 5th week, maybe the 12th week. Read up all that information and try to memorize as much as possible. Don't spend a whole lot of time on it. Just go through, read, take notes as you go along. Imagine that you're preparing for an exam or a quiz or presentation. This is really helping you to kind of prime your brain for what you will eventually hear from the teachers, the discussions you will have in class. If you do all of this cramming up front, it puts you in a position, because now when you hear it from the teacher the second time around, it wouldn't be like you hear it for the first time. Other students, they're hearing it for the first time, but you will have actually been hearing it before because you crammed it early. You went through the notes early, and therefore you're in a better position that when it's being taught, you're kind of hearing it for the second time, or maybe for the 3rd time, depending on how many times you crammed it. You also want to think in terms of, while you're cramming off this information, don't worry about what you may actually not be able to recall. That's fine. Don't worry about what you may not be able to recall. Just go through the information, take notes, and prepare it again as though you're going to prepare for an exam. Now, sometimes a person may say, well, this doesn't really make sense. If I'm going to see it sometime in the term, then why not just wait? Well, you could do that if you want to, but I'll tell you what, this is what I hear some students saying. At the end of the term, sometimes when a student does a quiz or does an exam, they may say something like,
We didn't get this, Miss Osu didn't teach this, but they tested us on it.
well, I don't know if that is true. Maybe it is. Maybe a teacher may test you or quiz you on something that you didn't do before. Possibly that could happen. Maybe it does happen. But if you will have gone through it for yourself, so you do a kind of self-study. So you're not waiting until the teacher or waiting until the discussion comes up in class, but you do a self-study. You studied for yourself, you prepared it for yourself, you even test yourself on it. You probably get some questions that you know maybe at the end of the textbook, or probably you create your own questions. You go through those questions and you prepare yourself that when you see it at the end of the term, somewhere at midterm, you will be prepared. So I think this cramming up front is a really good idea, and if implemented correctly and early in the term, early in the semester, early in the quarter, I think it actually can do really good for you as a student. Another thing, if you try to cram at the end of the term, it can actually put unnecessary stress on you. Nowadays, you're trying to figure out, okay, what study technique to use? What do I have to memorize? What do I have to learn? What is going to come for the tests? You kind of put yourself under some stress at the end of the term. So my suggestion is early o'clock, early in the term, go through the information as though you're preparing for an exam. It puts your brain at a place where there's a sense of urgency, and you're more likely to do well at the conclusion of the term. So I think that this is a good strategy to implement when studying as a student in primary, secondary, or even at the university level. So I hope that this content was informative. If it was, please like and subscribe to the channel, and you could also share this with one friend. Until then, take care.